Well, air travel is suddenly a disgusting mess under Donald Trump. And if you're wondering why, you don't really have to look very far. It's all around us what's going on. We see the airports shutting down. We're seeing the flights delayed for hours, unmanned air traffic control towers. And there is one orange man that we can thank for most of this. You know his name. The Trump government shutdown, which is now stretching into week two, has really broken the system that keeps planes in the air. Yesterday, the control tower at Burbank Airport in California just closed, not at 2 a.m. It just closed. It wasn't because of weather, but it was because there were not enough staff. And a pilot radioed in for clearance and got the response, the tower is closed due to staffing. So let that sink in for a moment. Important major U.S. airport, great alternative, by the way, to flying into LAX. And it's just closed without air traffic control. Flights were still taking off. Pilots just had to coordinate amongst themselves like it's some small, little town strip or something like that in rural Nebraska. At Newark and in Denver, it really wasn't much better. The FAA was forced to issue ground delays. Every traveler's favorite, the ground delay, basically telling planes don't take off until someone on the other end can handle you. And the cause, again, is that air traffic controllers are working without pay. Some are calling out sick. Others are exhausted. Some are saying we're working 10-hour shifts here, 6 days a week. And I can't blame them. Who am I to say, no, they need to be there anyway? As the Transportation Secretary Duffy admitted, these people are responsible for millions of lives while also wondering, how am I going to pay my mortgage this month? And of course, Sean Duffy, Trump's transportation secretary, is not taking responsibility. They're just blaming Democrats. That's the strategy. Just blame Democrats while the entire aviation system that he oversees is crumbling in real time. Now, then we go to something that's arguably even worse. The Essential Air Service Program. I don't know how many people are even familiar with this, but it's a great, important thing. It sort of keeps small towns and rural communities connected by air. That runs out of money this week. The idea is subsidize flights that don't really make commercial sense to keep these rural and disconnected communities connected. So if you're in rural Montana, if you're in parts of Alaska, you might lose flight service permanently. And it's not like a freak occurrence because the FAA has been warning for years, shutdowns make systems unsafe. They delay modernization, they slow hiring, they push controllers past their limits. Now, you might remember in 2019, the 35-day shutdown ended only when 10 controllers called out sick, grounding flights and forcing Donald Trump to cave. He learned nothing because we're seeing the exact same thing, and it's the exact same playbook. Use the chaos as leverage, except this time the chaos is happening 30,000 feet above our heads. I don't like it. I'm considering driving to D.C. in a couple of weeks for an event, something I have never done. I hate just long trips on the highway, but I'm thinking of doing it if this uncertainty and degraded system remains. Now, meanwhile, in Sacramento, we've got a helicopter crash, 3 critically injured. Air travel is just stretched to the breaking point. Now, Gavin Newsom is coming in and saying Trump's FAA is kind of asleep at the wheel. And Newsom happens to be right about this. When you hand the country to a guy who thinks being president is a reality show and the Oval Office is more a soundstage or a video set than a place where important decisions are made, you end up with people who can't get home and pilots who aren't getting paid and control towers going dark. Trump says we're making America great again. We'll be lucky if planes are still taking off if we have 2 more weeks of this. Let me know if this is affecting your travel plans. I know we have a lot of pilots in our audience, but also people who travel regularly. Are you thinking of, or are you modifying your travel as a result of this? And this is just like, I could do an hour with 20 different areas that are being impacted. We could talk about government contractors doing really important work. You could say, well, they're just contractors. Well, yes, because the government has decided to contract out a lot of important stuff. Just because they're only contractors doesn't mean it's not degrading government services. We could talk about farmers. We talked about air traffic control. We could talk about ports. There's all of these areas. All of it suggests, if this continues, prices for many things will go up. And all of it suggests safety overall for moving around the country and for other elements of safety is going to go down. That's where we are. And the economic panic is starting to hit Trump's econ team. I want to talk about that a little bit.